In the early hours of the 5th of April 2021, there was a mass prison break which occurred in Owerri, the Imo State capital, where about 1,844 inmates were freed. This caused a lot of tension in that particular town, with a lot of reactions also emerging from different quarters. There were suspects in this case as the Nigerian Police Force, under the leadership of the then Inspector General of Police, Mr. Adamu, said that was the indigenous people of Biafra in action. There are also reports that it could have been the Eastern Security Network that perpetrated that act. But the question is, how do we handle such occurrences in Nigeria, and for how long will we continue to record such in a country that houses over 200 million people? Security is one thing lacking in the country. Today on Public Square, we'll be discussing the recent prison break in Owerri, Imo State, and the attack on the police headquarters in that particular town. And of course, as it concerns the security challenges Nigeria is facing at the moment. My name is Olabisi, Olaniyi, Oluwasegun, and I have my studio guest in the house already. The police public relations officer in Ondo State, Mr. Ikoro, is right here in the studios. Thank you for coming.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
It's good to have you too.
Welcome.
All right. I also have the retired colonel, Mr. Rotimi, Alade. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It's my pleasure joining you.
We also will be joined in the course of the program by a legal practitioner, Mr. Femi. Omosua is on his way. He'll be here very soon. All right, we'll go on a very short break and we'll be back to start the discussion proper. Okay, welcome. First, let's start with a lot of security challenges Nigeria has been faced with at the moment, ranging from kidnapping to killings here and there, terrorism, especially in the north, and now it's even spreading across the country. Colonel Alade, you are a security personnel, a retired military personnel, and I'm sure you understand the workings of the military. Do you think that in this case, the Nigerian army, with the other security agencies, are doing enough to ensure that Nigeria tells a better story in terms of security?
Thank you very much. Security, as is normally said, is everybody's business to start with.
Okay.
And whatever we do individually will generally culminate to the overall security of the nation. Yes, the nation has been facing quite a lot of security challenges. The truth is that security is fluid. It's not static. Even as you're solving one, there is the tendency that others will reappear. There are so many factors that affect that.
Okay.
Employment rate, and so many issues. That's why I say it's fluid. But to talk about if the security agencies are doing enough, the truth is that they are doing their utmost best. And the fact remains that, yes, we continue to have such challenges, but then it takes the concerted effort of all, including the citizens in the first place, because without information, the security agencies cannot do anything, because all these criminals, so to say, they will always live amidst us, or they will need supplies, so to say, to survive amidst the citizens. So if the citizens are forthcoming and they give adequate information to the security agencies, they will be able to do more as necessary.
Okay, without having to drag these issues for too long, before now we've been having cases of course, like I said earlier, cases of insecurity in Nigeria. But you know, it was a bit understandable because these attacks were carried out and were targeted at defenseless citizens of Nigeria. People like probably me and many of us in this house, I wouldn't want to mention because I have security personnel here. You might have guns, but I do not have a gun. But now it's beginning to escalate to a level that is becoming worrisome. Just like I said in the introductory part, there was an attack that was carried out in Imo State about 2-3 days ago, and this really caused a lot of fear, a lot of agitation in that part of the country. What do you make of this situation?
Thank you very much. I already hinted about it that security challenges are fluid, they're not static, particularly in the eastern, because different areas of the countries we face different challenges as it is. In the eastern part of the country, apart from the kidnapping or whatever for ransom and others that are general, remember too there has been this agitation by this proscribed IPOB, that's indigenous people of Biafra. They've been agitating and of course causing quite a lot of commotion. I think the idea behind it is they want to make that area to look ungovernable for the people that are governing, so to weave the unnecessary sentiments, so to say, from maybe the people around and of course the international communities. So that is what they are doing. And basically, when people are fighting, democracy creates quite a lot of difficulty in tackling all this, because people will be talking about human rights and all that. So until maybe you see people commit offense, people will be claiming they have the right to demonstrate, to do all this or that. It is in that light that basically it's all those people that have been agitating to make the place ungovernable, the IPOB and of course the Eastern Security Network. Obviously it is their handwork, and of course unfortunately they were able to cause damage, but then it would have been more if the security agencies didn't respond. They responded, but then it's the damage caused that will get a headline. They responded and they were able to curtail it, and maybe the details we'll talk about as we go on. Okay,
Mr. Tilio Ikoro, you are an officer in the Nigerian police force, and of course I'm sure you're worried by the trend of a certain group of people termed faceless now, because up until this morning they are still unknown gunmen. Let's even start with that. Why do we always refer to these assailants as unknown? Is it true that they are really unknown?
Yeah, they are unknown because they are not trained. They are unknown because they don't have any known organization you can ascribe what they do to. They are unknown because no one has come to identify that I am from this organization and so I do what I do because I want people to know.
So because they do not have an organization you can ascribe them to, they do not have identities.
They don't have identities.
Are you saying they are not human beings like you and I? You cannot trace where they are from? What about the place of intelligence gathering?
Yes, that's another thing. What I would like to let you know is that there's a difference between an unknown person and someone you're investigating. It's because something is unknown that you investigate.
Okay.
And then all the intelligence organizations in the country, they're doing that. When something is said to be unknown, that's the reason they go for investigation, and they're doing as much as they can to unravel some of those people. And once they are unraveled, they become suspect in a particular crime that they've committed. But on the surface, they're still unknown until they're identified, and then they go for prosecution.
A lot of Nigerians have been questioning, I'm still on the question regarding the place of intelligence gathering in solving some of the crimes that have been perpetrated in Nigeria, for instance. You are a retired colonel, and of course you and I know that there are certain agencies that have been saddled with the responsibility of gathering intelligence ahead of these crimes, and that is so that there could be proactive measures to curb or probably to nip them in the bud. Would you say that these agencies are even doing their work, their job in the first place? Because we keep having cases and cases of, for instance, prison breaks. We also had, it's not the first time, I'm sure you know. The one that happened in Owerri will not be the first. We had in Ondo State, there was in Ogun State, in Lagos, Kogi, Temidayo, where it is not the first time, it's becoming a trend. How would you assess the country's intelligence gathering agencies?
Thank you very much. Obviously, they've been doing their best, so to say, but their best may not be good enough. That is
their best is obviously not good enough.
Yes, that is the situation. But the truth is that even as it takes the collaboration of all the security agencies, because even as you gather intelligence, it's a process. When you gather intelligence, you pass it to the people that need to know, and the people that need to actually make use of those intelligence that you have gathered, and that is why it requires this collaboration, and timing also matters. You can gather intelligence, and when it is not, it doesn't reach the people that are supposed to use those intelligence at the right time, then it should be of no use. So
that means there's a gap.
There could be there's a gap that they still need to cover. They need to probably block all those gaps, so come together more, and make sure that it's a synergy. I think that is just the aspect. But of course, if they are working, yes, they are working, but what they are doing it's not considered good enough. That's why we are still having those
Nigerians will not stop asking questions about the competence of the Nigerian police force. The economic woes the country is faced with is enough to make anyone go crazy. And now added to the security challenges, it's really tough for Nigerians. And this brings the question to mind of whether or not the police force is even doing it. What are the challenges? What are the constraints? Why is it so difficult for us to nib, in the bud, all of these things happening in the country?
Thank you. Let me begin by saying that first, we're living in a digital world. Crime too has gone digital.
Okay.
And I think that everyone is digitalized. Everyone has a phone. Except people give information at the right time. There is no police organization anywhere in the world that can take total control of a crime rate, but by the people.
It could be minimized.
By the people still.
Okay.
When people see something and they don't inform any security agent at that point in time, and they keep saying, well, I don't think it could be what I think. It could be what you think after all. But the moment you see something you don't understand, and you send it straight to the police will work on that, analyze the information you're giving, and then work towards it. If you hold it, of what use is it until something escalates? The case of a prison jailbreak you were saying in Imo State, I'm glad that my boss has explained it. It is not because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. If they didn't come and attack what you saw, it would have been much more than that. Maybe that place would have gone another way of a Somalia incident.
What could have been worse than having about 2,000 prisoners freed of about 3,000?
It's better to allow them free than to kill them in the process. The exchange of firing could have caused their death. It is better to allow them free. That way, of course, we can have them back at some point in time. If we have engaged those assailants the way they came, it means there would have been so many casualties and fatalities along the way.
Okay.
It is better to allow them go, let them go to somewhere. A prisoner remains because there is a tag, and we know where he is from. When he was jailed and what he needs to go through, we know that he's from a place. So it's easier to go to that place and find him out than for him to die in the process. And then we begin to have human rights issues here and there, and that you know very well. Every time a policeman goes out to work and there is an attack, if he survives the attack and fires back, there is a problem with human rights issue. It is better for one armed robber or 10 of them to go than to kill an innocent person in the face of any untoward attack. So I think the police in Nigeria is very carefully trained. They've gone out, so everyone can attest to that. Each time they go out, people can tell you they perform extraordinarily good, because the environment out there is not the kind that we have here. Here, the human rights issue is always on the front burner. People don't sit down to think, why should a police station be attacked by the same people living in that place? And then nobody within that place could inform the police that this is what is coming up. The intelligence gathering does not mean that I could stay in my house because I have my phone. It works with those living within the same environment that something is going to happen. Because nothing happens in a vacuum. Someone must have heard of it, and no one has reported to the police. Do you think they are magicians? They are not. They are not prophets. They walk by what they see and what they hear.
They walk by what they see and what they hear. But permit me to use the word in Senate climes now, there are a group of people called undercover agents who go and mingle with the people. I would, for instance, not just leave my house and come to the police station to tell you that there must be something that would trigger that reaction. There must be someone who would facilitate my willingness to, open up to you. What is the job of the undercover agents? I don't know what the CID. What do they do? And this still boils down to the issue of intelligence gathering that we earlier talked about.
I think that they're doing much, much better than before, even. But in Nigeria, there's something I found out. I've been privileged to leave this country and police some other countries in the world. Here in Nigeria, for someone to volunteer information to the policeman, they expect the policeman to pay him. In Senate country that you've just mentioned, they don't do that. Someone sits in his house or stays in his bed and sees something outside and call him immediately. There's something I'm seeing here that I don't understand. In Nigeria, even when your brother is being killed, you'll be happy sometimes. Say, he has so much money, let him just go. And then you expect the police to come and find out who kills. And even when the police passes through all the process that it needs to pass through to bring out the person, that this is one who killed, human rights comes in. How do you go and abuse a man saying that he killed his brothers? We have so many things that go against proper policing in the country.
Okay. So now, a lot of people believe that the recent trend of, civilians attacking, not even civilians now, they are gunmen, they are criminals, attacking the police officers is the reason why we have this alleged negligence to duty that is so common in the force as of today. Is that true?
No, not so. The period that we are going through, the world today is going through bandits. There is so much banditry and terrorism in the world. So much banditry and terrorism in the world today. Nigeria is in the world. Sometimes we should see what happens in our way. And then we should be very glad that we are not having the kind that we hear about in some other places. Once upon a time, a thing like that will come, like it came in Imo State you just mentioned. But what you don't know is the underlying effects of what the police and other security agencies have done to reduce the carnage that you would have seen. And people do not know that the intelligence gathering of these agencies is very intact. But like I told you, it's impactful on us working. But like I told you, the people do not see that. Every Nigerian wants to be politically inclined, and all that they have is how to build homes in where you don't need a home, and forgetting that security is a business, like my boss said, is a business of everyone. If something hasn't affected you today, it doesn't mean it's not going to affect you tomorrow. The moment it affects somebody, go for it. That's what happened in those crimes that you were talking about. When something wrong happens to one person, it affects all living within that environment. In Nigeria, just pass through. It doesn't concern me.
Nigerians do not have confidence in the system, in the police, Nigerian police force anymore. What do you think? Are you aware of this?
They do have. The Nigeria police is the measuring gauge of the development of Nigeria. This I can tell you. And that's why we still have investors. If it wasn't so, you can't have an investor coming into the country. They would have told you the security of that country is bad. From what the government says and what the government does and what we see, Nigeria police is on top of every game. But there must be season for everything God has created. God created crime. We saw it in the Bible. If you follow the days of Christ and Judas Iscariot, there must be criminals who will also die the way of Judas Iscariot and the rest that we've seen in the Bible. Don't expect that any society that is growing will grow without crime. It is because of crime that a society grows.
The reason I raised this issue of trust and confidence is because a lot of Nigerians complain of being victimized by the same police that is supposed to protect them.
Only criminals complain about that. Have you complained?
Well, it's public square, and I mean, we need to hear what the people feel about this issue. we would be opening the port very soon for you to call in and tell us what you feel about. So we have Mr. Ikoro in the house. He is a representative of the police in Ondo State. And we would want you to ask a few questions, that is if you have any, on the show this morning. Security in Nigeria is attaining a really worrisome state, and it calls for attention. All right, let's talk about, still on the Owerri prison break. We're complaining of insecurity in Nigeria, Colonel Alade. And apart from the attack on that prison, there was also another attack on the police headquarters, like you and I know. Not only were prisoners freed, arms, weapons, and ammunition were also carted away. And this would lead to the same issue that we've been talking about for years, the proliferation of arms in the society, which of course, is not a good thing. How do you think these can be controlled, or what do you think government should do? How should these prisoners be recovered? How should the arms and ammunition be recovered so we do not have too many of them in the public?
Thank you very much. The attack in Owerri, I think, if I have my record straight, apart from they feel setting free those prisoners, they burnt so many vehicles and of course a part of the police headquarters. But I don't think it's on record that they were able to cut away arms there, because in fact, of course, that was their major aim of the attack, because just as I said, maybe we still call them as unknown because if not a rebel, their specific identities individually. But of course, arrests have been made, and of course, maybe until the investigation is concluded, the main aim of the attacking the place was to just get themselves to get those arms and start using them illegally. And of course, because as my colleague rightly said, a lot of resistance by the security personnel, they weren't able to achieve for that aim. But
resistance on a building that was eventually raised down, I'm sure that logically speaking now, criminals attack a facility, later raised it down. Definitely, occupants of that building would run for their dear lives.
Yes, but then in security circle, there's that tactical way of running. It's not issue of running a skata. There are some KPs that you have to protect, and of course
KPs.
Yes, there are key points where they keep such things, arms and ammunition, maybe armory, magazines and whatever that they need to protect, and they will do whatever is possible to protect that. They weren't able to cut away arms and ammunition. And for the prisoners, as rightly they said, their number, their identities are known. So many of them, some even stayed back, some didn't leave the place because they know the implication. If somebody is already serving a jail term that is supposed to end in the next 1 or 2 months, and you escape and they start prosecuting you all over, it will be a problem.
We have a legal practitioner in the house. Thank you for joining us, Barrister Omosua.
My pleasure. Good morning, Nigeria.
I would especially thank you for
very terrible.
You really did well. Thank you. We understand how it goes. Now you're a lawyer, and the recent prison break in Owerri has really got a lot of people thinking, what is the place of the law in all of this? These prisoners were released by a group of people, and I'm sure it is a criminal offense. Yeah. What punishments does the law stipulate for offenders in this sort of scenario?
Yeah, thank you. Thank God I was even monitoring the program while I was coming. And I want to thank the security agents, Nigerian police, the army, and other agencies who have taken policing to another level. I heard the policeman when he was saying that policing has gone beyond using gun, at somebody. Thank God for information technology these days. If there are informations about you, records, there are records, even in the courts, there are records of where you came from, there are records, even in the police station. So, and as far as the law is concerned, when you are tried and you are being imprisoned, not when you look at even the essence of imprisonment, it was primarily made for punitive curriculum, not it was primarily made for reformatory curriculum, correction, not punitive curriculum. But when you are there, you are expected to change. And that is why you see some people, after maybe if they are sentenced to 20-year imprisonment, and when they say that they have even gotten better, under the prerogative power of either the governor or the president, at times they allow them to even they spend a lesser year and they will be allowed. So when you are imprisoned and you escape and you are caught back again, your case will be worse than even when you were first imprisoned. That is about that. And number two, one thing I think is the panacea to our problem in Nigeria. We have always been saying all this. Even advanced countries, they pass through all what we are passing through. There has been jailbreak, even in the history of America, Britain, Europe, and what have you. But I think our own should not be that. It should be deteriorating. Our own should be better. But I think one thing we have not done seriously in this nation, especially in Africa, is that I don't know if we did it deliberately. We have decided to create laws that we are not going to obey. We have decided to have democracy that we are not going to practice the way it's supposed to be practiced. Ask me why. Let us look at the evolutionary trend of even the world itself. The world is not static. How can we have a nation of about 200 million people? We don't have information data bank. If you go to Senegal, if you go to Kenya, you don't carry about 5 ID cards about. One card will tell us about how many times you have been asked to come to police station, how many times you have been in prison, in fact, everything about you, your information, your father's name, your mother's name. But in this country, let us look at this national ID card they say they are doing. It is not just to even get to know, it is not just to even know about our population alone. What about even at times when we want to share things equally, or if there are other things that we need to do, we are not getting in. That's why today, why some people just believe that they can break jail. If you're in a society where you know that if you break jail, you can easily be caught. Because even it's going to put a lot of burden on the security agents now. Because if it were to be in advanced country, as soon as you leave that place, there is nothing you are doing. Under some few hours, you'll be caught.
I see the reaction of many Nigerians when probably they're watching the television and captions such as federal government threatens to do so and so. If, threat statements from government regarding those who escaped from that prison seems like a joke to many Nigerians. How would the police force recover this inmates that were freed in conjunction with the prison service?
Oh, I don't need to talk politics, but I think let me go by the way our legal practitioner here said. We have laws we don't obey. We have democracy we don't practice in its entire practicality. And so it's difficult for the police to always do what we intend to do because those laws that we have seem sometimes to go against the workings of the police. If a policeman stops someone, there is a big person somewhere who will ask, why do you have to stop him? Is it your gun that is carrying?
Are you saying the police is working under the influence of some?
Of course, every organization works under the influence of the government. There is no way you can work in isolation. The government and the constitution directs what you do. But like you said, are we obeying the constitution? The police are, of course, human beings from the same Nigeria.
It's true.
And we have people who are in such positions. If I have a brother that is in the legislative assembly, what do you expect me to do? If he calls me, I must obey him because he's my brother. And he has a position that I have to respect.
You must obey him because
he's my brother, and he has a position that I have to respect.
That tells a lot about the kind of police force we have.
That is the way we see our constitution, like the legal practitioner said. Until we all learn to obey the laws of the land and the constitution that we swore to, things may not work the way you're thinking. No policeman is a magician to do extraordinary things. He must do things that are in consonance with the yearnings of the society.
You're making a very valid point. Just as it affects the ordinary citizen, the random Nigerian on the street, it also affects the rank and file of the Nigerian police. Just as the ordinary Nigerian wants to probably walk in tandem with a order of somebody who they think is influential, the police officers are also doing that.
We have an order in the police that tells you when to use a gun. If I'm coming, I'm attacked by somebody with a gun, and I don't die in the process, but I'm maimed, and I retaliate because I need to defend myself, there is a human rights position in Nigeria that will tell you you should have not used your gun this way or that way, forgetting that I was attacked first, and it was for God's sake that I was saved. My arms broken, sometimes my legs broken, yet I survive it and then fire back to defend myself. Those are the things that keep the police, the Nigerian police, in such a form or position that sometimes you find out what really is the reason. Upon all that I do, when I go out, people applaud me. When I come home, people boo me. We need to think back. What is wrong with the society, and not with the Nigerian police? First, let's us see what is wrong with the society, and then we can address what is wrong with the police or the security agencies. Until we are able to address what is wrong with the society, nothing anyone can do that will put Nigeria in such a form that we can compete with the US, that we always say with our mouth. We can compete with America, we can compete with Britain, we can compete with that. Those societies are already clean in such a form, and even at that, crime is still there. But they have a way of going through things. Like he was talking about a data bank. Do we have it? We don't have it. And you expect the police to have it. Who gives the police? It is the people. The reason for policing is the people, not for the uniform that you wear. Until the people are able to organize themselves in such a form that they support the police at every point in time, we may not have the kind of saner society that we think that we want to have.
Okay, we're still on this particular issue, but let's talk about the fundamentals now. The fundamental issues that a lot of people believe is the reason we are where we are today as a country. In Imo State, IPOB was fingered to have carried out the attack on the prison break. In the north, we have the Boko Haram rampaging as well. Here in the southwest, there are lots of agitations here and there. We have the ones who are clamoring for Oduduwa country, Oduduwa republic. We have the Sunday Igbo of this world and all of that. What can we allude, or what can we attribute all of these things to? Colonel Alade.
Thank you very much. Basically, as it's been observed, the truth remains that if people are comfortable, or if they are busy doing something positive, naturally, all those negative attitude will not come up. There is that school of thought that probably says maybe because there is unfairness, there is, but basically, I feel if the youth are positively engaged, all this agitation will be reduced to the barest minimum. And the fact also remains that if you look at it, why should people want to be on their own? It's probably they feel they are not being treated fairly, and I think that aspect needs to be. There is a need to listen more to people, let them come and whatever is the grievance. That's the essence of the democracy anyway, so that you can talk, you can negotiate, and of course, if the system tries to positively engage all these young people.
There have been different talks, different roundtable, different sit-downs among stakeholders in the country.
You can't exhaust talking.
What more negotiation is there to explore, Barrister Omosua?
Just like the captain,
Colonel
was saying, we must understand that we have fundamental problems. And these problems are very germane. It's threatening the togetherness of Nigeria. And we must know quite sure that when a child that is supposed to be walking, the mother is backing the child. It's either if the mother is well, the child may not be well. We are not getting it right in this country. That's why we see people clamoring for self-governance, or let us revert back to the way it used to be in those days. Okay, how can you explain a situation like this? Somebody was telling me recently that Governor Akeredolu started Amotekun, and he did this, he did that. All of a sudden he took a 360-degree political U-turn on, and I said, come, You cannot criticize a government that you are part of. You're a policeman. You can't criticize this government now that as long as you are still a force man, because the sovereignty that the president of Nigeria is holding in trust is being held in trust with the governors. The best that the governor can do is to say, okay, if you cannot govern us together, if you cannot provide security for us together, let us provide it for ourselves, within ourselves. And I've always said it on this program that a man is primarily responsible for his own security. You can't have a snake or rat in your house, you call police to come and help you kill it. The first thing you will do is to kill the rat before other things. What we are saying in Nigeria today is calling for a lot of agitation. Can we imagine a situation where a particular system, a particular section of Nigeria, we say we created, what's it called? What do we call this? There is a particular name they call it, federal character, where the balance appointment, where the balance, where some people are using it to favor themselves at the expense of some others. Where we have some intelligent and educated people in a particular section of the country, these people have been rendered redundant. I was reading this morning that a 57-year-old DIG is being retired for 53-year-old DIG to become IG. This is same system. We say we are in same country. So we begin, there are quite a lot of agitations, and I want to believe breaking is not the panacea even to Nigeria problem. What many people are agitating for is Orisha to Bale Tumida Femile Boshedami.
Is that enough justification for the various attacks on government property?
No. The issue of government, we are still going to treat that. But what I'm saying is agitations now, because we're only seeing the one that is resulting into violence. There are many people who are not comfortable with what is happening in Nigeria. But when you now begin to look at the issue of attack here and there, when you talk about the Odua people or what have you, what they are clamoring for is, if you cannot rule us together, give us things the way it's supposed to be done, let us begin to provide for it by ourselves. Whatever we have in our area, let us use it for ourselves. And when you look at the south whatever, when they started the other time, what they were saying is they have this thing at their backyard. They are not enjoying it. And the one that is happening in Imo now, I don't know what must have caused it. But the one that is very stupid of it, that nobody can even imagine as being reasonable, is the one of Boko Haram. Because I don't know what will have caused that. When somebody will say people should not go to school,
crime has no coloration.
It has no dimension. But what we are saying is there are some reasonableness, sense of reasonableness that follows agitation. Because some people say they are agitating. Gumi said there is an agitation, and by the time you juxtapose their agitation according to Gumi to what is reasonable, it's just a question of fact. It does not have any sense of reasonableness. These people, even when this thing started, there are some school of thought that said, okay, these people were brought to chase a particular government, and now that government is gone. They have become like a magician that rode on a tiger or a lion. When the lion is hungry, the lion have to feed the magician. So we have quite a lot of issues, insinuation about that. But what we are saying in essence is we have not been able to even look at or decipher or even look at it and say, what is it that has caused the one that's happening in Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria, that is now expanding to the south? The one of Imo, I told somebody this morning, I said the people who are doing this, they are going to be caught, because there is no sense of reasonableness in it. Whatever you are doing in the southern part of Nigeria, there must be a reason for it. We have not seen it. We have not. Okay. I have not been able to even look at it and say this is what has led. What must have informed somebody going to the prison, burn the prison, want to attack government house. There must be one thing, but we'll wait for it.
I can see Colonel Alade making some sort of gesture. Do you have a contrary opinion?
Just to buttress what the learned colleague has, the learned man has said, the simple fact remains that the moment crime starts, the dimension can better be maintained.
You're also a learned man.
For Imo case, just as I explained at the earlier part of the program, the idea behind what they're doing is they want to create an impression that the place is not governable, or that, and to create an impression that there is no need for the people.
Is that the right approach?
It isn't. Obviously, it's a
the pot now for
wrong.
Nigerians to make their opinions known. 0816-251-9991 0816-251-9991 0908-177-8793 0908-177-8793. Those are the numbers to call this morning to be a part of the program. Okay, Mr. Tilio Ikoro, we've been having rising cases of kidnapping in Ondo State, especially in the Akoko-Ose axis. And just about 2 days ago, a whole family of 5 was kidnapped. Are you aware of that?
I heard it.
You heard it?
Yes. But
no investigation has been launched?
People do not. I think I was taught as a graduate of communication that what is important is where, who, why. The journalists that we have today, maybe because a lot of them are corrupt in their minds, they don't care to know where. They just write who. What happened was not in Ondo State. The thing never happened in Ondo State. It happened in Kogi State, but there is a boundary between Kogi State and Ondo State. And they do not care to know where the thing happened. Everyone keep calling me. 5 people were murdered, kidnapped and all that. It wasn't in Ondo State.
The thing is,
and I don't have jurisdiction over that.
All the citizens of Ondo State cannot be at the crime scene at a time. You are the police public relations officer, and fine, you're here now. So we want to confirm from you.
I want to make clear here.
Good.
That it never happened in Ondo State. And that's why there is no response to that. We only sympathize with those that were involved in it, and particularly to the state concerned. In policing, there is what we call jurisdiction. I cannot go to Kogi State and speak on behalf of what happens in Kogi State. Not even Osun, that is close here. I cannot speak precisely on what happened in Ondo State. And I think the police in Ondo State, because we have strong synergy with the communities, we don't have much as other states could have. And everyone can say this. Ondo State, for today, is a state in the southwest with the lowest crime rates. Everyone can tell you that. It is because our synergy with all security agencies are intact. Even with the newly found article, we work in such a form that you don't even know. There is no separation when it comes to work. And then the citizens, the good people of Ondo State, are contributing immensely to the information that we need. That alone has made us to sleep with all eyes closed. So if somebody told you 5 people were kidnapped in Ondo State a few days back, tell them no. That I said
but
it was not in Ondo State.
The victims were said to be from Ondo State. So
yes.
Is there anything the police force can do?
I am from Rivers State and I work here. That's what I was telling you, that first thing of the where is important in journalism.
Definitely.
I am from Rivers State and I work here in Ondo State. If something happens to me here, it happens in Ondo State, but the man is from Rivers State. It clears the situation.
The question
but
now
if you
is,
say because I'm from Rivers State and something happened to me here, it happened to Rivers State. No, that's wrong.
The question
you misinformed the people.
Question I asked is there any sort of collaboration between the police force in Ondo State and that of Kogi State so that the criminals will be nabbed in no time?
Now, let me also explain this to you and to listeners at home. When something happens in Ondo State Police Command, the Commissioner of Police in Kogi State will not have anything to do until he's given the right from the Force Secretaries to support that of the Ondo State Police Command. And when people keep asking the same question you just told me, I'm glad that you put it on air. When people think that because something happened in Ekiti State and Ekiti State is close to Ondo State, the Commissioner of Police, with dispatch people right there to support is impossible. It must get directive from the Force Secretaries. Now we have a zone comprising Ondo State and the Ekiti State. They have to speak to the AIG in charge of that zone, who will now call for deployment. No commissioner will do that. The moment you do that, it becomes an illegal duty because no authority has been. And you know that police is an authorized organization, work with authority from top to bottom. So you cannot just send your men to go there and work. Even when you have a case that you're investigating in this state, you have to go straight to the Commissioner of Police in the other state and verify this is why I appear before you are allowed to even work. Even as the Commissioner of this state authorizes you to go there, you must see the Commissioner there. You can't just go on there and work on your own. There is a system that shows openness and transparency in policing.
All right, thank you for that clarification. Okay, we're still on the program. It's Public Square, and today we're focusing on the jailbreak, the prison break that was carried out on a correctional center in Owerri, Imo State, and how that also affects the overall security of Nigeria. And I've been chatting with the Police Public Relations Officer in Ondo State, Mr. Ikoro. I also have a retired Colonel, Rotimi Alade, right here with us, and Mr. Femi, Omosua, a legal practitioner. We'll go on a short break. We'll be back very shortly to take your calls for your opinions on this particular topic. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. We're still on the program. And if you have anything you want to ask the Police Public Relations who is here, thankfully, and if you have anything to say regarding what we're treating on the program today, please feel free to call us on 0816-251-9991. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you for joining us. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Sunday.
Okay. Where are you
calling from? Ijoka.
From Ijoka in Akure?
Yes, Ijoka.
Please go ahead.
I want to say just two things. One, I expected that some of our journalists to take a trip to some of these volatile areas and investigate on their own, ask questions on the locals or what is happening. And by that, they can inform others what is going, the reality on the ground. There are speculations here and there. Then that is one. The second one is this. Please, Nigeria is a federal state. This police system, Nigeria 200 million people, the centralization of policing is so strong that it is not possible for somebody in Abuja to give the rating what's happening in my own small local government before definite action be taken. It is proper that DIGs or AIGs, as they are called, I suppose, can, as matter of urgency, be allowed to operate without taking instruction, absolutely, from Abuja. Why? Because the credentials the present IG has, I'm sure that some of these deputy IGs at the zonal levels also have it. And they can do as good as they can do it over there. So why can't they decentralize this system and give them full autonomy to operate and operate in a way that they can handle issues as they arise, and at the end of the day solve the problem without reference to Abuja. That is my own concern. Please, I'm sorry to put it this way. Thank you very much.
There's nothing to be sorry about. We understand your points. Do you want to react to that before?
Yes. Sir, thank you very much. But I think what you should understand is that there is what they call rule conflict. If you allow it to go the way you're thinking, the commissioner in one state will take an action. Then the one in another place will take another action. Then the AIG will take another action. The DIG will also take another action. There will be a problem.
Okay.
Because there are so many actions taken that are not in consonance with even what happened. There will be the idea of security. But if you have the way we have now, if something happens, there must be a directive from the first sequence outlining what a particular person should do. For instance, the AIG in charge of Zone 17 now will be the one to give order. This is what you should do. This is what you... And it will go in such form.
Okay.
It's an organized, orderly, uniform job.
Okay, in response to the second part of that question, as regards the place of journalists in disseminating information, first-hand information, you would know that here at Adaba FM we do that without mincing words. Our men were at Ajawa, and of course the Koko axis where happens to be the top flashpoint of kidnapping in Ondo State, and we'll continue to do that. You can also call us on 0816-251-9991 09081899991 and 0908-177-8793. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name, please.
Isaac calling from Futa.
Isaac from Futa, good to have you.
Yes. Yeah, it is better safe, and we all know that there's not anything that can be considered as being a one Nigeria. And the law is created for us. The instrument of law is created for us. It is now left for the citizens of this country. So please protect that instrument. The prison, the Nigerian police stations, and whatever means of law that need to guide the laws of the nation, we need to protect it in every area. And I believe that only one police can police a community if one, the people in that community have a good synergy with the police, and two, if the police will have to respect the integrity and the right of the citizen, I think we will have a better policy in this country. But we need to talk to the police at this point that they should please respect people's rights. We are the citizens of the nation, which you are policing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. A few comments from Facebook now. Gani Mohammed Ajowa says, are we not aware that Nigerians are afraid of volunteering information to the police? Of course, we talked about that earlier. That's a place of trust and confidence.
Well, that's person. Let me tell you the truth. There is what they call stereotype, and I think that's what a lot of Nigerians still
that should be broken, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Olaniyi Alabi says, good morning. All right, thank you for greeting us. Kende Nafiu, our major problem in this country as regards the security challenges is not just about leadership, but we don't have the political will to do what is right. Even our system and legal framework are incapacitated to address the present challenges. The lawyer in the house, the lawyer is incapacitated. That's a grievous allegation.
Hello.
Do you have any reaction?
I wouldn't say the law is incapacitated. The tripod stand upon which democracy is built, the stands are weak. If you are talking about, just like the PPRO said the other time, you place the piper dictates the tune. What we have been saying in Nigeria today is that the democracy we are practicing, we are not practicing it the way it's supposed to be practiced. You see some people today, they enjoy the judiciary simply because they have some people in the executive and the parliament or what have you. And in a situation like this where there is no clear-cut separation of power, where there is fusion of power, there is bound to be weakness in the structures. There is bound to be weakness in the structures. And what are we saying today? In the legislature, they said there was a time they said the president is expected to come and address the allo chambers. Some people there said it's not a must that the president should address. So we see it in the executive, we see the lapses in the judiciary, we see it even in the legislation. So that does it.
Double standard.
Double standard, yeah.
Okay, it's a pity that we... Okay, one more call before we go on the program. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
My name is... good morning. My name is Pastor Babatunde Olagundoye from Atoshindari.
Good to have you.
Yes, I just want to appreciate this PPRO that we have in Ondo State. Anytime I listen to him, I see, you see, my knowledge of police and the PPRO is very different because this man is knowledgeable. That is why I value education very much. He's a lawyer. When he speaks, even his diction in speaking, you know that he is learned. But that.
Thank you very much, Pastor Olagundoye.
Pastor, pray more for me.
Okay, Colonel Alade, your parting shot on the program. We really have to run.
Thank you very much. Basically, what I will remind us is security is everybody's business, and we should not just stay behind and be complaining. What can I contribute to make the security situation improve? We should do that and help all the security agencies to be able to achieve better results. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Barrister Omosua.
Yeah, I just want to adjure Nigerians that our judiciary needs to be robust. It has to be built, because even in some countries where you have weak executive, weak legislators, but even in South Africa, where you have a very strong judiciary, you can be sure that the laws will be respected and the democracy will be practiced in a better way. But where the judiciary is weak, there is no way we are going to have dividend of democracy.
All right, that said, the Nigeria Police Force has a new IGP.
Yes.
What signal does that
send? Looking forward to a new vision of policing.
Okay.
That will make every Nigerian to support the police. And that's what I want to say to the good people from Ondo State. The same way you've been behaving to us, keep doing that so that we can hear stories from other states. Not here. Here, police and you, the same.
It was a not here for me. Still referring to what Pastor Olagudoye said about your diction. You said not here. You're from where? Sorry.
Rivers State.
From Rivers, okay. Good to have you gentlemen on the program this morning. Mr. Temidayo, Ikoro, thank you for coming. Colonel Alade, it's nice to have you, and Barrister Omosua. Next week, Thursday, we will be back, God willing, with another interesting topic. My name remains Olabisi, Olaniyi, Oluwasegun. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Bye now.
Old school.
Obeying.
That's so.
Our country.
Back through the years, I go wandering.
Wherever you are,
Whatever you want.
you can only get it here. Adaba, 80.9 FM, the station for all.